on items presented during this time.
Thank you. Now we're going to open it for general public comment. Does anyone want to make general public comment? State your name.
My name is Michael, Lawrence Accountability, and to be clear, I'm not making a complaint, and there's nothing in this that is individually identifiable. My purpose here is to make the board aware of what the attitude is on the street. All I'm asking is your name, man.
Robert.
Robert what?
What's your name?
Robert what?
What's your name?
Sir, what's your last name?
What is your name?
Sir, what's your last name, please? Sir, I don't want to have to file a complaint on you to get your name. Will you just tell me your last name?
Tell me your name?
You?
Okay, if you're not going to tell me, I don't have to tell you, right?
Okay, we can do that, and I'll blast you on the media, and we'll get everybody out there, and we can find out who the fuck you are. Why can't you just tell me your fucking name? That's the attitude that we deal with on the street, or at least that I deal with on the street, because my name is Michael, and I'm with Lawrence Accountability. That just happened today. I hadn't planned on talking about that tonight. What I had planned on talking about tonight was the 17 shots that were fired on 21st Street a week ago yesterday, or a week ago Monday, sorry. And if I remember right, I believe it was in this meeting, we had Chief Lockhart in here talking a big game about how many beanbag shotguns we deployed.
Took the extra step of removing all shotgun rounds, making only beanbag rounds available.
We're going to try and use this to de-escalate and take the person under control without using that lethal option.
It is less lethal, but these officers say it's highly effective.
And all the training that we had done with these less than lethal weapons. The story reported by the Journal World is inaccurate. I've spoken with neighbors, I've spoken with family members. There were calls for help made for this man. Last night at a county commission meeting, I found out that Bert Nash had no idea. 17 shots they put in that guy last Monday. You guys aware of it? Everybody aware of that? I don't normally call out citizens, especially in a meeting, and normally don't call out private business, but I gotta tell you, I'm damn ashamed that Bert Nash doesn't even have any idea what I'm talking about when I mention a guy getting shot 17 times and had mental issues in this fucking town. The leaders of Bert Nash apparently didn't even know that somebody had been fired at 17 times in this town. Like, that shocked me and it angered me. And it angers me that these boards, these commissions, continue to let the police and the Lawrence Journal World establish the narrative. This was not a simple burglary where the suspect was caught on scene and displayed a weapon in a threatening manner. This was not that. And if you guys would ask the questions, you will find out. This was not that. I'm going to put out the video, Adam. I'm going to put out the video. I've got interviews from people that were over there, and they're willing to go on camera and talk because what they saw was wrong. One of them, when I first walked up there, they killed that man. That was all he kept saying to me, was they killed that man. They killed that man. The neighbor tells me that your officers didn't even move to clear the other side of the duplex before they opened fire.
How long were police here before the shooting?
Hours.
Hours.
I don't know where these cops came from over here.
Did they ever say anything to you guys about what was going on?
They told us Saturday to stay in the house. Sunday, never got a peep out of them.
So Sunday, during this whole event, they never made contact with you? This is a duplex.
Yes. No, they never made contact with us. Not once.
And so you're sitting on the back deck and all of a sudden you hear...
Shots. I ran in the house, went down to the basement.
And I know they were on scene quite a long time. Why wasn't that other side of that duplex cleared? That neighbor told me they ran for cover when the shots started going off. Police officer safety is all that matters. Our safety doesn't. They will go home at all costs. And you saw it on 21st Street. And I think I told the city commission when I talked about Jayland Walker Actually, you guys. I think it was you when we talked about Jayland Walker and the chief coming in here and expressing all his condolences for.
I think that's a cop-out, and it's a way to avoid talking about local issues because he can come in here and openly and freely talk about Jayland Walker, but we can't openly and freely talk about the citizens of Lawrence. What is wrong with that, guys?
Jayland Walker and the 60 some odd shots that they shot at him. And I told you it was going to happen here, didn't I? Because that's how they train.
Officer and scene safety.
Sergeant Scott Lauritsen oversees the scenario training at post.
Do we continue our investigation?
The absolute most important thing is officer safety. So all of the other procedural stuff that they learn will be at their own individual agencies. And so we really highlight that officer safety issue.
Do we allow people to point guns at us? No. We go home. Those that we're dealing with will go home if they choose
to dealing with someone experiencing a mental health crisis.
Is there a weapon behind there?
I haven't seen one.
You don't know. Will our officer safety become laxed in these or will it become heightened?
Heightened.
But what are you seeing?
Relax. We'll train.
Okay, so you're trying to be empathetic at the sacrifice of your officer safety. What happened to our officer safety? Why are we not recognizing that as a gun pointed at us? When you think of a gun be pointed at you, what do you think? You think this, right? Do we think of this or this or whatever it is? Is that what we think of?
No. Seems casual. It doesn't seem threatening.
Okay.
Well, she's spinning it
And where is her finger?
on the trigger, right? But that's why.
So would you have shot?
That's really hard.
No, it's not really hard.
It is hard for
It's
me.
really simple.
Because if I shot her and then I don't think.
Do you let a gun be pointed at you? Yes or no?
I want to say no, but.
Do you let a gun be pointed at your partner? Then what's the argument? Why is it so hard?
Because we have to live with it.
You're in the wrong profession, my friend, if you can't live with that. How many of you have made that decision? 1 out of 7. You are 3 weeks from that being a real gun, a real bullet, a real death. And you don't know if you can live with that? Wow. How many brothers do you have out here? How many sisters? They mean less to you than a mental subject. You soul search and you figure it out. And if that question hasn't been answered tomorrow, I suggest you don't come back.
They trained to kill. I told you it was going to happen. And now it has. So you can continue to treat me like the scourge of this town, or we can get our shit together and stop people from dying.
Is there anyone else that wants public comment?
I think we have Sherilyn and Stephen.
There are 2 people.
Two people? Let's start with Sherilyn. Sherilyn, you have 3 minutes.
I also want to talk about the man that was shot. As someone that has experienced mental health problems, I honestly find it, I don't want to make it about me, but I find it shocking and traumatic, honestly. I mean, from what I can tell, the family had called several different times. I don't understand why the police, if the family was calling for wellness checks over and over, why you didn't take this man somewhere. The police are empowered. If somebody's a threat to themselves or others, you don't need a court order, you can take them. I mean, I just understand what happened. Did you call Bert Nash for some crisis intervention? I mean, I don't understand. You say we got crisis intervention, mobile crisis intervention. Evidently, he wasn't dangerous up until the point where he had a gun. Did you ask him, do you have a gun? Do we have red flag laws here where you can take guns away from people that are becoming very unstable? I mean, I just find it just plain shocking. I don't know what else to say. I mean, it seems like, I don't want to be negative, but it just sounds like a failure for someone that was in a state of crisis. I understand if he's pointing a gun, you have to do something, but what happened the 6 times that the family called before then? I thought you guys were trained in crisis intervention. I hope that this kind of thing doesn't happen again. And we can think of better ways to deal with people that are getting like that. Thank you.
Thank you.
Unless you guys do something.
Stephen?
Yeah, thank you. Sadly, yes, I also want to add some comments about this most recent police killing. This concept of officer safety will be thrown at us, as we all know. And I got that thinking, you know, as a social worker, I went into some of the worst kinds of places God can imagine. And I now realize that social work is now the family police, but that's a whole other story. Social workers never went into places armed with guns and knives, and we had no clue what was inside and what was waiting for us. And I was confronted several times with weapons. Hey, you know, the way policing is today, I understand that things are different. And so because things are different, we cannot feel safe in contacting the police on mental health matters. This is what happens. The training that the police get is warrior-based training. I've come to grips with the reality that our community is comfortable with having Gestapo-like people dressed like Gestapo-like individuals walking around asserting themselves, as opposed to being officer friendly and saying, hello, how are you? What's going on? Maybe those days are gone. I don't know. But our community needs to weigh in and say, this is what we want with the police. It's okay that they are trigger happy. Where were the shotguns that were promised for beanbag stuff? I know you guys don't have answers to these kinds of rhetorical questions because that's what they are. Why is the community not asking these questions, or are they on the street level? And in the quote leadership levels where we protect a sacred cabal. It is a cabal, law enforcement, and its relationship with the industrial complex of quote justice, the judicial industry. That's what it is. These guys making fat money. Anyway, please continue forward, but realize you guys, I mean, you're the line. This is it. You guys are it. Thanks for your time.
Thank you.
Not that we're going to delve into it a lot here as a board right now, but we did meet with Chief Lockhart last week to set this agenda, and we made a point of offering him a space to address the shooting, and he stated that it is under investigation and that he wouldn't be able to say a lot, but we did ask him to address how the training around these sorts of situations is handled, and to not just leave this unaddressed by this committee and in this space, because it is a responsibility that we have to this community.
All right, my name is Rich, R-I-C-H, last name's Lockhart, L-O-C-K-H-A-R-T, and I'm the police chief here at Lawrence PD. Thank you all for coming today. We wanted to share some good video with you. Most of you followed the double homicide we had a few weeks ago.
The fact of this matter is well established. There's no more plausible deniability. Now we have to deal with the actual facts and implications of this. Thank you very much.